Before I begin my little talk today, I want to ask if there were very many of you that were here on this Sunday that I told you the story of Scotty, who was in the hospital with my husband. Okay, all right. And Scotty this was a pain place, and they were both in pain. But Scotty was in really difficult situations, and he had to sit up all night because he couldn't lay down to sleep. So he used to draw and color. Not a great artist, but just kept himself occupied, and it was, we had a good relationship, all of us. And when it was time for them, and us as well, to leave that hospital, Scotty had drawn me particularly a beautiful picture. And I had discovered that Scotty wasn't well known. In fact, he was homeless. And I had given him some things, long story. But anyway, I took the painting home that he had created for me, and Colin photographed it, and we framed it. And let's see, is the couple here that took the photograph here for us with all the people?
It was Jim. I think it was Jim, and he's not here.
Yes, okay, thank you. So anyway, I just want you all to know that Colin and I were able to go back there last week and track Scotty down. We couldn't find out very much about him. They're very secretive about everything that goes on. But I did want to come back and tell you that there was a wonderful nurse in that hospital who has made it her mission to find Scotty, and she knows where to find him, and take the photograph of him. And the photograph contains many of the people in the church, all standing here and with holding Scotty's picture up. He had never had one of his pictures framed before. So it's very special for him. I wanted you to know how good, I know how good Scotty's going to feel about that. Very, very nice man. Okay, so that's about Scotty. Now, explaining my in the beginning quote in the newspaper. I've told a lot of people how difficult the newspaper blurb is for me because I never know what to say in that thing. I look at it and I know what I'm going to talk about. So how do I tell them what I talk about, what I'm going to talk about, without telling them what I'm going to talk about? So anyway, we get along just fine, especially Jennifer. She just does everything for me. So that's that. Okay. My story begins in the beginning, and it's been puzzling me for a long time that I don't know, well, it's not a long time that I've always disagreed with the Bible, but I do from time to time, you could believe me. They don't always agree with what I agree with. But that's okay, because it gives me lots of other friends outside of the Bible. And in the beginning, apparently, God said, "Let there be light." But there wasn't any light. You may not have known that. There wasn't any light for several days. Several days later, God said, okay, let's have some light from a sun, let's have some light from a moon, and other things. But the part that challenged me was the darkness. What is the point of the darkness? And what I came to understand with my own studies and lots of other things is that let there be light means let's have understanding. There was no one around, of course. There was nothing happening. There was no understanding. So I decided that I need to create the understanding for you, and you can take a look at what I think. And if you don't agree with me, we were going to have some fun after the service was over today, because I enjoy the discussion afterwards. Okay. So my idea about the universe, where it came from, how it works, how we got it, and what it does, goes something like this. First First of all, now I don't know where this came from. There was a big bunch of dirt out there. Anybody know where that came from? There's nobody, you see, nobody writes about that stuff. I find that interesting. I've got kids.
Dirt is compost.
Dirty compost.
It is compost.
Oh, okay, well,
This is all from.
who composted it? You see, you can go on with this forever. Who, how, where, why. So I made up my own story that works for me because it's the story I need to use now. So much of what is in the Bible is very good, and I know a lot of it is true. I know that we don't understand it because it's a different language and all of that, and a lot of mistakes in the translation. But I think I need, for me, and if I'm going to get up here and talk to you, I have to tell you my truth, as much of it as I understand. It has to be understandable to me. So, rule number one, Marcia doesn't know where the dirt comes from. That's why my kids gave me a robot thing that... Okay. Which didn't clean the hall the first time I used it. The reason I like the idea that there's dirt is because all dirt is so different. And I don't believe that there's space out there in the space. There's stuff out there. Now I can't see it, but it is out there, and its purpose, seems to me, is to do things for me. Occasionally it seems to do things against me, but for the most part it does things for me. And that depends upon me. And I believe that most of you know that what happens to you in the universe happens for you. If you have screwed it up, it's not God's fault. Not that I believe that God does anything about anything, because I don't. Okay. What I believe about the dirt in the universe is that it is all very important stuff. It's scientific stuff. It does things. And according to the Bible, it has contained within it everything I will ever need, everything anyone would ever need to live their life, to be prosperous, to survive, to learn, to grow, to heal. All of that is contained in that stuff of the universe. And we're having people come along these days that talk about the ways that stuff works. And one of the ways that interested me was the law of attraction. See, I can attract a lot of dirt in my life. But all of it comes to me through me. And the universe only ever says yes to what I ask, as long as I ask, one caveat, correctly. You see, the universe does not have the ability, or God, if you want to use that word, I'm fine with that. God does not know how to say no. There is no negative in the universe. The universe is a positive creation. I'm not sure how, but I know in my heart of hearts that that is how it is. There is one divine mind. Notice divine. Everybody says it's divine. If it's divine, it doesn't screw up. It does what we ask it to do, as long as we articulate in our consciousness, in our belief system, what it is we really desire to have, to be, to do, how we want to grow, where we want to go, what we want to have. It is impossible for the universe to say no. It is impossible for the universe to say no. Now, we know, I know, a lot of people that have a lot of no's going on in their life. Let me tell you, it is not some God out there punishing you or doing anything to you. And the easiest way for me to say it, because I now have a deaf husband, is that they don't hear everything. He doesn't hear anything he doesn't want to hear anymore. Okay? And it works out very well for him. The things that we do that prevent us from clearly stating our mission, if you want to call it that, is we reverse ourselves. We tell ourselves lies. We listen to stories. We do things that are not possible to be done or heard in the mind of that one divine mind of God, if you like. The mind of God cannot hear your lies. Lie your little hiney off, it won't get you anywhere. To have your life go rightly, you need to think rightly, be rightly, say the truth of your being, which is the real truth that I'm going to hand out to you later on. The universe can only say yes because all that it knows is itself and what it has allowed itself to be created into. It is its own creation. And somewhere in here when I talked about growing, they're always talking about the universe is growing and expanding and expanding and expanding. And one wonders where to, but there's nowhere for it to go, so it must just keep on expanding. Therefore, God is growing itself. And it is growing itself by means of our consciousness. So those people who, I don't want to say anything negative about anyone, those people who do not speak truthfully about what life is all about don't get much of it. Because God, if you like, doesn't understand that. We talk about the fact that let there be light means let there be light in our minds, our understanding. We have that understanding. But if you are going to speak untruth, garbage, whatever, that God, not because it has an inability, but because it only has an ability, and its ability is absolute truth. No mistakes, no lies, no falsehoods, no unkindnesses, none of those things. I call them casting shadows. And I'm working on that. I'm not sure it's going to be a good title for a book, but I'm working on that because we are so in love with, many times, casting shadows. Now, I did it myself this morning, coming in here. People were saying, well, hi, how are you? Where's Colin? How's Colin? Oh, he sucks. He's got a rotten cough. Excuse me? That was a lousy shadow. He doesn't have that rotten cough. He's not doing things as well as he usually does things. That's his choice. Our acceptances are our choices. Okay? And he, when he gets in his mood like that, has lots of rotten choices. Okay. I'm so glad he's not here this morning. Okay. Now then, let me see, I want to move on. My idea about how the universe became goes something like this. First of all, we had the stuff. And then we had some kind of intelligence moving in that stuff that moved that stuff into, worms and human beings and things like that. And those human beings keep on growing in understanding, because that's all there is at the moment. There's nothing but some understanding. And then there becomes some acceptance. Acceptance, according to some religions, is the first law of God. There are there are a few religions that teach that the reason we can't have what we really would like to have in life is because we can't accept it. How many times have you been told you can't accept it? I'm not good enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not well educated enough. I'm not this, we're not that, so on and so forth. Keep on finding excuses for non-acceptance. And yet there are other people out there that'll accept anything and everything as long as it's fairly nice. They want to have it, they want to try it, and they want to do it. And they do very well with that because they are leaving the negativity aside. There isn't any for them. Let me see. I have Dr. Holmes' name here, so he must have wanted me to say something. Gratitude? No. Okay, well, I'm going to go on to gratitude. This little Science of Mind magazine, it's a treasure, and I use it a lot. And there's one man in here that has a page. Most all the time he has a page every month. And it's his job to talk about the affirmations that are going to be in the book for the whole month, different affirmations. And he speaks to joy and many things. He always speaks to gratitude. And I would like to share this with you because gratitude has to come after acceptance. If we refuse to accept any good, we have no need for gratitude. And it is said that gratitude is one of the greatest fires of the universe. This love is a great fire. It sets things in motion. Gratitude is a great fire. It sets things in motion. And this is what he says. First of all, he makes a little comment. Living life in gratitude is one of the most powerful gifts we can give to ourselves and to the world. It has been written, in all things be grateful. No matter the experience, be grateful. Remember, gratitude is a creative energy that creates more for us to be grateful for. When you receive something and you are grateful for it, you create an energy that draws to you more like what you were grateful for, or just wonderful things. Okay. So then he gives a little thanks. He says, I am thankful for everything in my life. I know that all things lead me to my greatest yet to be. I like that. Gratefully, I live my life in peace and joy. I am the light of God. Let there be light. Let there be understanding. Let there come something out of this dirt. Let us make man. I am the light of God. Gratefully, I allow this light to shine in all aspects of my life. And so it is. And to that the universe will say yes, yes, yes. The more of that yes, yes, yes you hear, the greater and the better the universe will become. How much better is it to say yes? Let's see if we can get that done. Maybe we could work that out together. Wouldn't you like to hear a little bit more of that going on out there in the world?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. One up for me. Okay. It's not easy to give the history of the universe in 20 minutes. I do the best I can. So, I want to just quickly move on, and I will tell you, okay, break. I'm going to do this for 6 weeks. I want to go through and give, but it'll be better than today, so you can come and say. And the things that we want to cover in what's happening with the universe would be, the universe always says yes, there's our acceptance or not of that. There's gratitude, there's joy, and there's one that's near and dear to me that I really want to work on, because I'm married, is do no harm. No matter how many times I may have thought about it, I really do not want to kill him. But I cast a shadow when I'm in that mood. Every time I use a negative idea, throw it out, criticize somebody, look at that scarf she's wearing, that doesn't go with that. What is the matter with that woman today? What? How many of you are laughing about that? They say you only laugh if you do it. But they are shadows. When you, I don't know how many ways there are to say this, when you do something like that about someone, you are lying into the mouth of God. That is not a God-given idea. It isn't. And I've had so many God-given ideas in my lifetime that weren't true, that I'm wondering I'm still alive. Really. I thought about, why am I alive? What am I doing here? Who am I? Who needs me? What is that? And maybe this isn't the thing to talk about right now. But maybe some of you will resonate to this. I was an abandoned baby. I was not wanted. There wasn't any love. And I know some people are feeling sad for me, but don't. Because here's what I know about babies like that. They don't know. That's life. That is what life is like. And it is not until you begin to grow and get some understanding that at some time later on, you recognize that person's loved and that person isn't. And you have to begin to make choices and decisions. And if there are kind people in your world, as there had to have been in mine, you'll grow up all right. I'm pretty happy with me. I like me. I'm okay. You can trust me. Okay. The thing that I am the most concerned about is that I do no harm. I took the doctor's creed. First, do no harm. So that's what I'm all about. First, do no harm. Don't talk negative. Don't tell things that you don't know are true. Keep the shadows away. Because, and here's the importance of the shadows. The shadows are the only thing that prevent you from being healthy. The shadows get in the way of the light. The light of health and love is flowing all the time. It never stops. The only difference is, have you got shadows? Do you keep casting shadows? Does the light get through to you? And when you think about that law of attraction, and you're doing your treatment, prayer work, and you want the love of God, and you want the medicine to work, and all of those things, have you been casting shadows in front of that? Do you say things that are not healthy, and not grateful, and not beautiful, and all of those things? Cast those shadows away. They don't belong to you. They are not of God. God, the universe, always says yes to what is good and true and beautiful, and will always assist you in blowing those shadows away. Keep the shadows away. And the one or two more things. How do we grow and become a blessing? See, that's what I want to do. I want to grow and become a blessing. I grow, but... and then there are, when we're growing and becoming a blessing and doing all the things we really want to be doing, there is what I'm calling the 5 aspects of living in wholeness. Now, I just want to live in wholeness. I don't want to be holier than thou. You know, people that are holier than thou give me hairs on the back of my neck. I don't need that. I don't need to be like that. And sometimes people, you know, if you're a minister, people think you're holier than thou. You haven't heard me in my kitchen. There's something I want to do with this series. I want to create it into a kind of a book for people that just don't get how the Bible confuses you, and we can do that. I'm going to ask all of you and everybody that comes for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks to make a special note of what you've been hearing and what you want to know. And we speak first Sunday every month. It's getting late. The movies on YouTube are 20 minutes. So if you couldn't come last week or you can't come next week, it's okay. Just find the YouTube and play it for 20 minutes and you've got the message. It's there for you. And then we can discuss. We have a little round circle afterwards if you're interested, and talk about what I talked about or whatever. But we can do that once a month together and make something of it. And you can put your questions in, and if I can, I'll answer them. If not, other people in this room will be able to answer them. We all have different qualities and quantities of intelligence and wisdom and love and life and laughter, and all of that could go into such a book. And then we could sell it and finish building the church.
Yes.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, let me hear yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Send me your comments. Send them on. Don't send them to my computer right now. Oh, some of you got my messages. Okay, I have no computer. An expert has it. Well, the last expert closed up shop and left town. She didn't exactly say it was me. But a number of people here have been asking for a discussion group every once in a while. And here, I think, is an opportunity for those of us who are interested to get together, talk about what we talked about, and do something with it. and make ourselves the most joyous, happy people that go around all the time saying yes.
Yes.
And so it is.
So it is.